1st of June 2023, a very good morning to you. It is a Thursday this morning, wherever you are catching the show live from 19 minutes past over 7 a.m. My name is Denis Oringi. I am here to give you each and every information that you need to know right here in our country, Uganda. We shall be starting locally from Western sub-region, actually sub-region, and not forgetting northern Uganda at large, and plus other issues that we have in other regions like Bunyoro, Karamoja, Teso, Lao, and also the central, region of this country. I'm talking about the capital of the Republic of Uganda, Kampala. And not forgetting those who are catching us live from other parts of this country. We do appreciate you very much for tuning to Westnile Television this morning. We are coming to you live from the broadcast house of Westnile Television, located on Port 39A, Weatherhead Park Lane, right here in Arua City, Westnile sub-region, northern Uganda, and also Africa. Those who are catching us live out of Africa, thank you very much for joining us. It is important for you to know what is happening back home, more especially the West Nilers who are in other countries out of Africa. We do appreciate you very much for waking up together with us this morning. My name is Denis Oringi, and you can visit my Twitter handle at OringiFrancis11. You will find Oringi Denis right there. And so allow me to appreciate and thank you very much for catching us live using the platforms that we are coming to you live on. That is the Zuku satellite channel 0073, and also not forgetting the Star Time channel 477. And those who are catching us live using the YouTube, and we thank you very much for subscribing. And for those who have not subscribed, please, you can do the same by subscribing to Westnile Television, so that each and every time that I am in the studio for KOKOLIRIKO Live, you will just get notification right there on your smartphone or whatever gadget that you are using to watch the YouTube. Not forgetting those who are following us live on Facebook. We thank you very much for joining us this morning, and I'm here to give you each and every information that you need to know. All right, dear viewer, you have to know that Uganda is preparing for the 3rd June. That will be on Saturday, the Uganda Matters Day. The celebrations will be at the two shrines that we have in Namugongo, the Anglican Shrine and also the Catholic Shrine. And so yesterday, the pilgrims from Jinja arrived at the Catholic Shrine in Jinja. And this time around, the animation of the Matters Day celebration at the Catholic Shrine at Namugongo will be animated by the Diocese of Jinja. And so with what I was able to witness last evening, I have to tell you that the pilgrims from Jinja, they have broken the record of the pilgrims from other dioceses that we do have in our country, Uganda, in regards to Catholicism. And so the preparations are on high gear for Matters Day celebration over the weekend on Saturday. And so Kampala will be very busy, Namugongo will be very busy, and for those who want to go and make killings in terms of businesses, you have the population right there. And trust me, each and every year, people around Namugongo, whether the Anglican Shrine or Catholic Shrine, they make a lot of money out of that particular day. And what are you doing? Those who are catching us live within Kampala, you have a business opportunity right there for you. The tourists will be coming, they will be spending in dollars, and you have to get that opportunity of tapping on that dollar that somebody is going to spend. And also the pilgrims from other parts of this country and also other parts of Africa and also other countries, they are moving in. And so Entebbe today, tomorrow will be really full with the number of flights landing at Entebbe International Airport as pilgrims from other parts of the world joined the Christians who are here in our country, Uganda, as they will be celebrating the Matters Day right there. And so as Westnile Television, we shall keep you abreast of every information that will be taking place right the other side of Namugongo for Uganda Matters Day right there over the weekend. And so we shall be able to give you updates of every information that you need to know right there. Also, right dear viewer, let's start from that is Arua district. Back here, some of the local stories that we have prepared for you this morning. You have to know the stakeholders in Arua this week have committed to reduce the gender-based violence, which the research shows that women more than especially girls, under the age of 18, suffer the more. This was revealed during the visit of the officials from the Ministry of Labor, Gender and Social Development to awaken and re-emphasize on the SafePal application, a software used to report gender-based violence cases. In the discussions, teenage pregnancy was cited to be one of the serious issues that need to be tackled. Let's have more on that from the stakeholders. All right, we do apologize for that as the producer lands on the story. You have to know the issue of teenage pregnancy is something that is very serious, and it calls for collective responsibility to see how we can really, solve this particular vice. It is eating up our society. Currently, as we do talk, there are a number of young people, especially young girls, who got pregnant right now. They are single mothers. The boys or the men who impregnated them do not really take care of them, and so the responsibility has been left in the hands of the mothers of these young girls, and more especially it was worse during COVID-19 when schools were closed. And so we know a number of girls got pregnant during COVID-19 and they cannot go back to school. And let's have that story playing right there. Thank you very much, the producer.
GBV violence meted particularly against the girl child, and the statistical information about that is very, very challenging. The research done by one of the high-ranking health officers, the mothers who reported for antenatal care to the hospital and the catchment health centers in the catchment area was very challenging. And out of the total, we had 6,223 over that period of almost 1 year and some months. 6,223 teenage pregnancies, and that's a whooping number. The number of youths in social gatherings, particularly discos, radiating from the disco centers and now moving back the various directions is very challenging. And therefore, what does that mean? What they've been doing at disco over the night cannot be underestimated. So when your pregnancy rate at that level, it calls for a very high level of response from all the stakeholders.
In our issues with youth, there is sex outbreak. People have sex for leisure. And sex is like a normal thing. Sex is not that sex where we first used to go and bathe, then you enter the house, you close the door, you put the light off. No. Our children now, under the summer plantation, they are having sex. Under the mango tree, they are having sex. Behind the house, they are having sex. People sit by the roadside from morning, they are doing nothing. All energy is reserved for evening to have sex. So we have a very big problem when it comes to this. Gender-based violence, a lot of it is on ourselves. You know, and we know at the boy child, by the way. You can see in this meeting the way we are. We've ignored the boy child. We are focusing on the girl child. We are focusing on the girl child. Even if the girl child wants to keep herself, but the boy child will convince her. The boy child can rape her. The boy child can do anything to her. Because let's have special focus on the boy child, such that we can move a long way. We can sustain all the initiatives that we want to bring on board for youth, for changing what we are calling SGPV and all that. But if we only focus on a few people and most of the ladies, and we leave the girls thinking that the women are more vulnerable, we shall miss the target.
The strategy to end child marriage and teenage pregnancy has identified the lack of information is one of the drivers. Our teenagers, our young girls, our young women do not have the right information. We've had stories of young girls getting pregnant because they were convinced that if they had sex while standing, they would not conceive. Because they do not know, because their parents have not told them, some are fall for such lies. Engage in early sex and the consequence is unplanned pregnancy. So we are using this application to share all that information, factual information for the young people to avoid things like getting pregnant at very young.
All right, thank you very much. You have heard from the stakeholders in Arua district in regards to fighting gender-based violence and also teenage pregnancy in the district. I believe that the SEPOL application software will be able to solve some of the issues to do with the gender-based violence in regards to reporting. And so we urge the members of the public to use this application software to really report gender-based violence cases that are being registered in our community. So I believe that stakeholders who are really trained on this by the staff of the Ministry of Labor, Gender and Social Development will be able also to really continue preaching the gospel to other people who are not really part of this particular training. Sometimes we are called for trainings like that. We only focus on ourselves and our family members. We don't want to really spread the information to other people so that they get to understand what exactly is being talked about in regards to fighting some of the vices that are really affecting us in the society. So teenage pregnancy is one of the serious cases that we urge the stakeholders in Arua district and also the stakeholders in different districts that we have in West Nile to join hands together to see how they can really work out to see how we get rid of this vice right there. Away from Arua district, let's get to actually sub-region where immediately after issuing the executive order by President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, last week, the local community in Agago district and the districts bordering Karamoja have started feeling the results of the executive orders that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni did aside last week but one. And so the leaders from the region expressed appreciation to the president as they witness improvement in the UPDF deployment on ground and the practicability of the other component of the executive orders that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was able to sign. Stephen Okello went to Agago district and compiled these reports for us.
Leaders from Acholi and Karamoja region has appreciated the executive order issued by President Yoweri Museveni Kaguta on cattle rustling.
Now, after disarming these warriors, there was no strategic plan on how to ensure that these people are economically empowered, these people are supported, or they are registered in groups so that government can put resources to different groups to engage these guys, or even in commercial agriculture.
According to Lieutenant Paul Kamol, the district chairman Kotido district, it was in September 2019 when cattle rustling shoot up again after massive withdrawal of UPDF from the region.
When the forces were withdrawn from Karamoja, they were taken to Somalia, forces were taken to Central African Republic, they were taken to DRC, they were taken to South Sudan where we have forces. But we forgot that by withdrawing these soldiers, it was creating a vacuum, which the others will exploit one day and cause insecurity, and that's why we are.
But the Executive Order number 3 of 2023, with backing from Article 99 of the Constitution of Uganda, it's changing the narrative of the current situations in both Karamoja region and the neighboring communities.
Kabong district is going to have a brigade, or the Abim district as a brigade. One district, a full brigade. So meaning the capacity of soldiers is going to be stepped up adequately, and that will make us to realize the peace we have been fighting for.
Several interventions by both security force and other actors in effecting the executive order is now being felt by the local leaders.
There are new forces brought in place, and there have been positions in different locations strategically. So at least we have seen now changes, not like before.
Among them is the recruitment of local defense unit, which have been the major cry of the local leaders to the president.
So there's already goodwill on the side of the president to bring on board the retired soldiers, the veterans, to come and supplement the effort of UPDF.
The executive order came after a series of complaints being lodged to the president from the leaders bordering Karamoja region on several harms caused by Karamojong cattle rustlers. Stephen Okello for Westnile Television, Nilecast.
All right, thank you very much, Stephen Okello, for that report from Agago District. Dear viewer, that is in regards to the executive orders that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni did issued last week. One was the issue of the Turkana coming into the country with guns to raid the cattle in the Karamoja Ashole sub-region, and not forgetting Lao and Teso sub-region, and also the issues to do with the charcoal business that has really taken center stage in northern Uganda. And he says that there is no longer, there should be no charcoal business and banning of charcoal in northern Uganda, and also the issue of the Balalo. Those were some of the three major executive orders that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was able to issue last week. And so the residents in Agago, according to the story compiled by Stephen Okello, they are appreciating very much the President of the Republic of Uganda for the executive order, or the executive orders that he was able to sign right there. I believe that the practicability of the executive orders in other parts of this country, more especially northern Uganda, will be properly implemented. And we always have some perpetrators, those who reason above the President of the Republic of Uganda. Whenever President of the Republic of Uganda comes out with such orders, there are people, their work is to see that they fail President Museveni in implementation of the executive order. So as members of the public, we need to open up our eyes. This executive order has been signed by the President of the Republic of Uganda. It is empowering each and every citizen of this country to be vigilant and also respond to the executive order. So if you have some of the police officers and the UPDF officers who are not doing what is required of them, you have a right to report. And so I will be telling you the mechanism of reporting who you are supposed to report to. In most cases, we tend to report issues just anyhow to any police officer in uniform. No, there are ranks that have been given for us to follow when it comes to reporting issues. You don't just need to report an issue to any police officer in uniform. According to that is the Whistleblower Act. It says that a whistleblower will report to an officer whose rank is at the rank of Assistant Inspector of Police. And so if you know of any person who is Assistant Inspector of Police in your area, you have to report that issue to that particular person. You don't just need to go to any police officer that you get at the police station, then you report, and then you report an issue. No, there is that act, there is that law that tells you who you are supposed to report your issues to. We have the RDCs, we have the RPCs, those are the people that you can really report your sensitive issues to them. You don't need to report sensitive issues to any person, any police officer, a constable who you just get at the quarter gate of the police barracks, or maybe at UPDF barracks. No. You have to know this. And we, as Westnile Television, as Denis Oringi, and also the crew for KOKOLIRIKO Show, very soon we shall be able to dive into the Whistleblower Act so that you report the issues that you need to report in regards to corruption, the issue of abuse of offices, and also the issues to do with bribery in the public offices that we do have here in our country, Uganda. If we join our hands together, we shall really be able to fight corruption. And because of this, allow me to tell you that the Office of the President, and that is Directorate of Ethics and Integrity, the team is in West Nile trying to speak to different leaders of the districts that we do have in regards to anti-corruption policy that we do have in this country. How can we join hands together to fight corruption? Remember, the Directorate of Ethics and Integrity, it is mandated to really, do all possible ways of preventing corruption to take place. For them, they do not do the prosecution bit of it like the Anti-Corruption State House does, like the IGG does. Theirs is to really instill that spirit of integrity, the spirit of ethics in the in the people, so that they are able to understand that what they're doing is not right. They are doing something that is not accepted or acceptable in this country, Uganda, in regards to fighting corruption. And so that is something that you need to know in regards to the Office of the President, Directorate of Ethics and Integrity here in Westnile. And so I have been told today they will be meeting journalists here in Arua, asking from journalists, what is the problem? Why is it is very hard to fight corruption? Why is it corruption continues to eat up the country, Uganda? What needs to be done, and what have you done as a journalist or as journalist in fighting corruption in this country? How many stories have you reported in regards to corruption-related cases that we always register here in Westnile Sub-region? And according to the Director of Ethics and Integrity, they say that in Westnile, the district that has been really on the limelight has been Marasha district, that the State House Anti-Corruption Unit and also other bodies of government that has been instituted to fight corruption have been, been really frequently visiting Marasha district. And according to that is the Director, that is Religious Affairs, at the Director of Ethics and Integrity, he did say that there are over 20 bodies that have been instituted by government of the Republic of Uganda in helping to fight corruption, but we're still seeing corruption continuing. He did say that during Amin's time, much as I personally was not there during Amin's time, he says that whoever is caught stealing, robbing, looting, the person is put on a firing squad and is killed there and then. And so, because of such action during Amin's time, people fear to steal. You can even leave whatever you have outside and you will still wake up early in the morning and you'll be able to get what belongs to you. But unlike these days, in this current government, people still during broad daylight and nothing happens to them. We have had a number of thieves arrested, but we see these thieves joining us also in the society, and they continue with their wrongdoings. Nobody minds about them, and nothing seems to be done seriously about them. And so he was like saying, can we go back to the Amin's time where people were really persecuted if you have found stealing? We have in this country where people steal in billions, but they continue to use the money that they have stolen from the public. And so you find that it is a normal kind of thing. The cited example of that is the iron sheet saga, that some ministers have got involved in the iron sheets of Karamoja, and these ministers, they continue to enjoy the leverages that and also the privileges that they have, and without them being prosecuted. Yes, they were arrested, taken to Lizira, but they were released on bail, and currently they are just with the members of the public. Unlike a chicken thief who stole a chicken maybe from Rhino Camp, who is currently serving maybe 6 years, maybe 4 years at Arua government prison, and also other government prisons that we have in this country, Uganda. Go to these government prisons that we have in this country, Uganda. Try to find out the people who are serving their sentences. You find that these are chicken thieves. A goat thief, somebody who has attempted to steal something, and then because the person does not know law, and maybe the owner of the property that this person attempted to steal has some money, and he wants to punish this particular person, you find that this person is really, convicted, and he or she is serving his sentence right there in any of the government prisons that we do have. So the majority of the prisoners that we do have in this country, these are petty thieves. I would really say like that, because if you have to compare with the persons that are holding offices in this country with what they steal, the amount of money that they steal, one of the lecturers told me that we have 3 types of thieves in this country, Uganda. We have the pen thieves. These are people who use pens to steal, and they don't steal little amount of money. They steal in billions, and nobody cares about them. They continue to steal using their pens, and also the knowledge that they obtain from the universities that we do have in this country. The second type of thief, we have these ordinary thieves of stealing phones, stealing money, stealing goats, stealing chicken. These are the people, he says, that they are the majority at the government prisons in regards to robbery and also burglary. And another type of thieves that we do have in this country, these are con men. These are people who will tell you that I have 10 bags of maize in Nebi, give me this amount of money, I'm going to get for you these 10 bags of maize, but this person will disappear in thin air, will not come back to you. He will really take his own time, spend the money, then he will come with his kiasa, and he says that, you see, I was robbed on the way when I was going to get your bags of maize or bags of beans from Zombo, and so give me some time, I will be able to compensate you. And so that's another group of of thieves that we have in this country, Uganda. But according to him, he says that the people who are really making this country backward are the pen thieves who have been employed by this government, and government continues to allow them to work in these offices, more especially the accounting officers of the local governments that we do have in this country. Once this person has been found to have misused some of the money or stolen some of this money, what happened is that the person is transferred from one district to another, from one sub-county to another sub-county, and because of this, it is making the country really not to grow as it is supposed to be. And so he says that if the country is to get rid of the corruption, then the accounting officers that have been implicated in regards to corruption should be banned from holding any public office in this country. But it is not the case in our country, Uganda. Those who continue to still using their pens are being promoted, are being transferred from one district to the other, and you ask yourself, are they the only people who can really work as the chief administrative officers or the accounting officers of these local governments that we do have in this country, Uganda? Why do we continue to transfer those that have been implicated in regards to corruption, and we allow them to continue working in some of these districts? I know of some names, but I don't want to mention them here according to the Auditor General's report. If you want to know those accounting officers that are not doing well, just get to the Auditor General's report of the financial year 2020 or financial year 2021, and also the financial year that is 2020 2021, and also 2019 2020. You will be able to get to see how different districts have been able to perform in regards to expenditure of the budget that they always passed, and also the appropriation of the money that the central government sends to them. According to one of the scholars in accounting, he says that if you have been given 100 million and you have budgeted for that, and you are not able to spend that money that you have budgeted for, then you are incompetent, and such people should not be allowed to continue serving the people because they do not know why they are in those offices serving the people. He cited the example with some of the districts where at the end of the financial year, the central government ships the money back to the consolidated fund. Why should the central government be able to sweep back the money to the consolidated fund? Simply because the accounting officer, together with the political leadership of the district, have not been able to see that the money is really properly utilized, and this really brings a problem in regards to service delivery. And so what are we doing? What are we thinking about that? And so we see if accounting officer, for instance, of Arua City has not performed well, the person is whisked away from Arua City and taken to another district or another city to manage that particular city. Yet back, he has not really been able to perform very well. And so why do you continue to have people who are not performing to continue serving in other districts after they have been transferred? Why don't we get rid of that person and we get more new persons on board, those energetic and those people who have people at heart in regards to service delivery? And this is something that I can really let you know right this morning. 46 minutes past over 7 a.m. right here on Westnile Television. Let's get to Kampala and know what is happening in Kampala. You have to know that yesterday more than 200 university students marched to Parliament, and more than these 200 students from at least 13 universities and higher institutions of learning mid-morning yesterday, Wednesday, peacefully marched to Parliament to convey their appreciation to the government of the Republic of Uganda for approving the anti-homosexuality law right there. The leader of the marches, Maxwell Muwezi, said they will also deliver the appreciation to President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in similar fashion of really marching to his office. And the students also jointly lauded Parliament of the Republic of Uganda and President Museveni for ignoring pressure from the Western and other pressure groups that condemned the new legislation. Let's have more on that as these students were seen marching to Parliament of the Republic of Uganda without being really intimidated and tear-gassed, as it has been the case in this country when you are really doing some peaceful demonstration. What you receive, if it's not in line with the government agenda, you will receive what we call hot pepper and in form of tear gas. Let's have this. All right, thank you very much, dear viewer. Those are the students from the different universities and higher institutions of learning within Kampala marching to Parliament of the Republic of Uganda in appreciation of what the government of the Republic of Uganda and what the President of the Republic of Uganda and Parliament of the Republic of Uganda were able to do in regards to signing the anti-homosexuality bill. I have been joking with my producer offline about the students marching, and if these were students who were against the signing of the anti-homosexuality bill yesterday, would have heard that over 100 have been arrested in Kampala, and also others nursing injuries in Kampala or tear gassed. But it seems that these students were really marching, or confirming to the public that we do agree with what President of the Republic of Uganda has done in regards to signing the anti-homosexuality bill, and also we do agree with the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda for really standing tall in regards to protecting the integrity and also the moral values of our society, our country, Uganda, and also of the Africans in regards to homosexuality right there. And so if another group of students are to march today against the anti-homosexuality bill, then you will see all sort of all types of tear gas will be unleashed on them, because they will annoy some people, even members of the public. Some of them will really involve themselves in teaching them lessons that we don't want your nonsense here in our country, Uganda. And according to Asman Basalirwa, who was the mover of the motion yesterday while speaking to the students, and he told them, if you can really march to American embassy peacefully like that, that will also be very good. And this is in regards to the statements that are really coming from America in regards to the anti-homosexuality law that has been signed by the President of the Republic of Uganda. America has threatened to withdraw some of the support to Uganda, and we are still waiting to see whether this will be true or not. And this will majorly affect the the funding for HIV and AIDS here in our country, Uganda. And so that's something that you need to know in regards to that. Dear viewer, you have to know that 9 minutes to the top of the hour of 8 a.m. right on Westnile Television. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we shall be looking into what we have in the dailies today, the Daily Monitor and the New Vision this morning. My name is Denis Oringi, and this is KOKOLIRIKO live on Westnile Television. Let's go for a break, and we shall be coming right back. Good morning.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023, and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Guru, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
More for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
A very good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us this morning and also for still being with us. 2 minutes to the top of the hour of 8 a.m. right on Western Television. Allow me to let you know what we have in the Daily Monitor this morning from the dailies this morning. Rampara struggles to deliver services over poor funding is one of the stories that we have in the Daily Monitor, and that is from Rampara District right there. Rampara District leaders say they are finding it difficult to offer effective service delivery because of limited funding right there. During the passing of the financial year 2022, 2023, 2024, district budget, the district leaders observed the service delivery in critical sectors like health, education, and roads is limping due to funding gaps right there. And so what you need to know that the district chairperson Richard Omugasho said the district is struggling to work on the roads because of lack of road that is unit. So that means that Rwampara district is lacking what we call road units right there for you. Away from that story, let's get to another story here that UNBS to crack down on fake bread manufacturers. And so are you aware that the bread, the bread that you're consuming, some of this bread, is from fake manufacturers. Are you aware about that? This is what the Uganda National Bureau of Standards is telling us this morning, that they have vowed to crack down on bread manufacturers who do not comply with their regulatory standards. And so Lawrence Kitimbo, a senior legal officer at UNBS, revealed that they have been receiving complaints from the public against the quantity of some breads sold on market, especially in ordinary shops that we do have. Kitimbo added that the culprits will be prosecuted, as he cautioned all people dealing in bread to be very careful and start working in accordance with that is UNBS regulations. Additionally, UNBS on Tuesday told Ugandans to really be cautious regarding people who masquerades as UNBS officials. This was after Moses Ategeka, one of the industrialists who participated in the May 30th meeting, revealed that they have been disturbed by apparent security officers who stopped their trucks and lobby a lot of money from them right there. Ategeka said some of the masqueraders disguised as security officers or as UNBS staff, which he said confuses manufacturers. In response, UNBS National Metrology Manager Deus, that is Mubangezi, agreed that there are many masqueraders who raid companies illegally. However, he advised all manufacturers to be very vigilant and contact UNBS staff right there in regards to that. So are you aware that the bread you're consuming might be from a fake manufacturers who are really trying to hoodwink the consumers right here in our country, Uganda. European Union cautions journalists on integrity. Neutrality is also another story that we do have right here, that the European Union envoy to Uganda has called upon media houses and journalists to observe the ethical principles such as neutrality and integrity when covering stories. Guillaume Chantrain, the deputy EU ambassador, made the remarks while speaking at the celebrations of the 30th anniversary of World Press Freedom Day yesterday. Quoting him, saying, "It is of utmost importance to ensure that your articles uphold integrity and neutrality that form the bedrock of the moral contract between you and your readers." He added that journalists should know how to navigate their personal inclinations and perceptions towards politics. The EU envoy also urged the government to end the difficult conditions in which many journalists and media houses operate, saying, "I cannot ignore the different reports produced on the state of freedom of press and expression that continue enumerating a series of challenges regarding the media environment in Uganda." The event was marked under the theme Journalist Neutrality and Political Engagement. The keynote speaker was Andrew Mujuni Mwenda, a veteran journalist, said achieving neutrality is a tough terrain to navigate. Neutrality, he said, does not mean one does not have a stand, but rather we must strive to maintain a set of values and norms right there. And so Agatha Atuhaire says, ask Mwenda if his close relationship with the First family does not affect his objectivity in reporting. Mwenda said it is normal for a journalist to create such relationship because the same people are newsmakers. To be able to get information from them, he said, one has to build trust, and that is what he has done even with several opposition leaders such as Dr. Kizza Besigye, whom he revealed that he had slept at his home countless times. And so failure to have these kinds of relationships will make media houses and journalists settle. That is for press release stories and not investigative pieces right there. And so that is something that you need to know in regards to the 30th anniversary of the World Press Freedom Day right there for you. Let's get to issues to do with the court and Kamia. You have to know that the High Court in Kampala yesterday quashed the Parliament's Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises COSASE findings against Inspector General of Government Betty Kamia. The committee had implicated Kamia and then Lands Minister and Finance Minister Matiaga Saja for their alleged role in 10.6 billion dubious land compensation. In his ruling, the head of the Civil Division of the High Court, Justice Musa Sekana, said the process that resulted in implicating the duo was flawed. And so, quoting from the rule made by Justice Sekana, he says the court issues an order of Satoria quashing recommendation 1 of the report. Honorable Betty Namisango Kamia Turumome, the former Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, should be investigated in respect to the participation in the commencement of the shillings 10.6 billion payments right there. Adding the same was reached through a flawed analysis and evaluation of evidence as she kicked off the supplementary budget process, which is the role, mandate and discretion of the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. The application also succeeds on this ground, and I make no order as to cost. I saw order, but Justice Sekana rejected the plea by the former Lands Minister that COSASE did not properly and legally evaluate the evidence and the facts presented, and that he was not given a fair hearing. In his ruling, the judge said the COSASE investigations were legally conducted. Kamia had in her petition urged that COSASE had made an irrational, decision to investigate her for the alleged role in, kicking off the supplementary expenditure process without basis or support of evidence showing the same. And so, in her affidavits, Kamia claimed she received the letter from the Attorney General and a presidential directive written by the principal secretary to the president to expedite the compensations. And so, issues to do with the case background, the COSASE committee chaired by Nakawa East Member of Parliament Joel Senyonyi found that at least 4 landowners were wrongfully compensated in various parts of the country, while some were ghost claimants. And so the committee had noted that Betty Kamia, the then lands minister, erroneously initiated a supplementary budget to compensate the land claimants, yet this was supposed to be done by the Uganda Land Commission right there. And so I think that has been settled for that is Betty Kamia in regards to the COSASE reports that pinned her in regards to the land compensation right there. Bobby Wine Amoriat to table electoral reforms today is also another story that you need to know, that leaders of opposition political parties are today expected to present proposals for constitutional and electoral reforms at an ongoing and consultative workshop. The Office of the Leader of Opposition in Parliament has organized the 3-day workshop that started yesterday in Kampala. National Unity Platform leader Robert Chagulanyi, alias Bobby Wine, Forum for Democratic Change President Patrick Amoriat, and Norbert Mao, the President of the General of the Democratic Party, who is also the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, whose parties have representatives in the 11th Parliament, are expected to discuss the legislative reforms required to improve Uganda's political landscape. Other opposition leaders expected include Asmani Basalirwa of the Forum, that is Justice Forum, Jimmy Akana of the Uganda People's Congress, UPC, and Saddam Gayira of the People's Progressive Party. The academia, legal minds, civil society, and opinion leaders will also feature in the deliberations, which will, among others, inform constitutional and electoral reforms proposal. Chagulanyi and Mr. Muriat contested for the presidency in the 2021 general election, which the board described as unfair. On occasion, campaign rallies of the two candidates were blocked or disrupted by security agencies. Of the two candidates were blocked or disrupted by security agencies, and the candidates were arrested and also denied access to media. And so in November 2020, you need to know that at least 54 people were killed in demonstrations that followed the arrest of Chagulanyi in that is Luka. And so Chagulanyi, who finished second after President Museveni in the January 2021 election, and his NUP party have since the election raised concerns of arbitrary arrest, detention, and torture of their supporters. And so as a result, the opposition party leaders are expected to present issues in the 2021 election and also advance reforms such as the restoration of 2 5-year presidential terms, reducing the size of parliament and cabinet, and repealing the Public Order Management Act. Betty Ol Oshan, the woman member of parliament for Gulu City and former leader of opposition, said she and her party FDC fully support the fresh consultations. Other experts, Justice Professor Joel Ngugi of the Court of Appeal in Kenya, lecturer Mwambutia Ndebesa, and advocates Peter Walubiri, Dan Wandera Ogalo, Professor Frederick Sempebwa, and Karoli Semugere. These will be some of the experts who will join in that discussion about the electoral reforms, where Bobby Wine, Amuriat, and also other opposition leaders will be tabling the electoral reforms today in regards to some amendments to be done when it comes to election in our country, Uganda. And so we wish them well as they will be deliberating on such matters right there in Kampala. And I believe that their electoral reforms that they are planning to table today will succeed, and the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda will be able to look into these reforms. And I am happy that the Minister of the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, is also the president of the Democratic Party. And so since he heads that docket, they will be able to work on something in regards to the electoral reforms in this country. This is not the first time that Ugandans are discussing electoral reforms, more especially the political leaders, opposition political leaders in this country discussing electoral reforms. I would term it as one of the activities that cannot miss any circle of election that has been organized in this country. And so I am waiting to see whether the proposal in regards to the electoral reforms that these opposition political leaders will be tabling will be worked on by Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, more especially the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs that is mandated to present such reforms on the floor of Parliament for discussion right there. All right, let's get to the issues to do with the Katonga Bridge. You have to know that Uganda National Road Authority exclude buses as vehicles resume using Katonga Bridge right there. So I think they have advised that buses should not yet use that particular bridge because the bridge is still very weak. Remember, they have just completed the bridge right there. So the Uganda National Road Authorities has excluded the 69-seater buses among vehicles allowed to use the repaired section of River Katonga Bridge on the Kampala-Masaka Highway. So according to a statement issued by Uganda National Road Authority on Wednesday yesterday, the bridge can only be used by pedestrians, motorbikes, saloon cars, station wagons, SUVs, 14-seater commuter taxis, and also 28-seater coaster vans. Alan Sempebwa, the UNRWA spokesperson, and earlier on Sunday indicated that buses will also be among the vehicles to use the repaired bridge. But in an interview, yesterday, Sempebwa explained that UNRWA engineers would first carry out further structural integrity assessments to determine whether heavier vehicles like cargo lorries and buses can also use the bridge right there. Over the weekend, Works and Transport Minister General Katumba Wamala said after opening a section of that is Katonga Bridge, the contractor China Communication that is Company Limited is now going to embark on erecting a steel bridge over the river, and the work will last 1 month. And so the Kampala-Masaka Highway was closed on May 11th following the flash floods that swept away part of the River Katonga Bridge, forcing motorists to use the diversion route through Mpiji, Butambala, Gomba, Sembabule, Bokoman, Nsimbi, Villa Maria, and Nyendo, Masaka, which is more than 50 kilometer longer right there. And so the people had to bear the cost of using that particular road right there. Don't impose your lifestyle on us, Basalirwa tells the West right there. You have to know that Asman Basalirwa is the mover of the motion that was adopted, and is the mover of is the engineer of the bill, of the anti-homosexuality bill that we are now celebrating, that President of the Republic of Uganda was able to append his signature to the act right there to become law. And so the architect of Uganda's strict anti-gay law, that is Asman Basalirwa, has brushed off voices from the Western powers decampaigning government from implementing the legislation, insisting that Uganda is a sovereign state with its own values to uphold the legislation, the Anti-Homosexuality Act 2023 was on Friday last week, assented to by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni weeks after Parliament processed and passed it despite persistent resistance from pressure groups and foreign powers opposed to the law. There was equally triggered substantial rebuttal from persons in support of the law, including Parliament and government officials requesting that persons opposed to the legislation respect the norms of the Ugandan community. Basalirwa's call contained in his message made as he received an appreciation message delivered by a section of students from at least 13 universities and institutions of higher learning at the Parliament main gate on Wednesday. Yesterday, the Bujiri municipality, reasoned that homosexuality is a lifestyle that Western forces and pressure groups should not impose of Ugandans. And so he says here that all we demand from them is just respect. There are things we do here but can't be done in their countries. To the leadership of the students under the umbrella body, the Youth and Students Association, steered by Maxon Muhwezi, the Justice Forum later demanded that the same efforts are exhibited in popularizing the law across the country. Your efforts should not end here. You should find time and go to the American embassy and tell them, Americans, please respect us. He equally intimated that efforts and the entire Parliament had been a clear manifestation of the expectations of the majority citizenry across the country. And so some things students are portrayed in their peaceful march from that is Wandegia, Kampala to Parliament. We are in this country for 3 years during COVID. We didn't die. As a matter of fact, those Europeans and Americans died in bigger numbers than US. We will survive by the grace of God, Basalirwa said right there. And so according to Muhwezi, the students in the Wednesday Peaceful March were drawn from, among others, Makerere Kampala International University, Makerere Business School, MOOBS, and Cavendish University, most based in Uganda's capital, Kampala. The students promised to deliver the same appreciation to President Museveni in a similar manner on undisclosed date right there for you. And so that is regards to the anti-homosexuality law that we have in this country, Uganda. Bickering power struggles among National Unity Platform councillors as well. Kiso passes a budget is also another story that you need to know, that you can get from the Daily Monitor today. And also housemaids face a trial over the filing 4-year-old girl is also another story right there. Irrigation scheme lies idle 7 years later is also another story. And the National Water and Sewage Corporation to disconnect hospitals over bills, and Nebi Hospital was captured as one of the hospitals that have not really cleared their bill. And so let's wait and see whether this will be done. And let me have the story, a brief one here, that the National Water and Sewage Corporation is demanding that the Health Ministry clears that is around 1.67 billion water bills in Nebi, Gulu and Arua referral hospitals or risk disconnection. And so this is the news that you need to know this morning, that if Ministry of Health does not clear 1.67 billion water bills from Nebi Hospital, Gulu Regional Referral Hospital and Arua Regional Referral Hospital, then these hospitals will be disconnected. Ivan Tekakwo, the National Water and Sewage Corporation spokesman for Northern Uganda, said the corporation is engaging the ministry on the matter. Tekakwo said Gulu Regional Referral Hospital holds the corporation's 656.6 million. Arua Regional Referral Hospital owes, that is National Water and Sewerage Corporation, 224.2 million. And Nebi General Hospitals holds, that is National Water and Sewerage Corporation, as 794.3 million. And so of the accumulated unpaid water bills of Gulu Regional Referral Hospital, Daily Monitor has learned that 272.8 million was carried forward from the unsettled water bills for the financial year, that is 2021-2022, while others were from the financial year 2022-2023. This publication saw a copy of the May letter, May 5th letter, in which Silva Mugisha, the National Water and Sewerage Corporation managing director, wrote to, that is Ms. Diana Atine, Twine, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health, asking the ministry to clear the bills. And so that is something that you need to know. Very soon, if you see maybe hospital not having water, Arua Regional Referral Hospital not having water, Gulu Regional Referral Hospital not having water, you have to know that these hospitals have not really cleared the water bills right there. And so it's quite unfortunate, and I believe that the Ministry of Health will be able to work on this particular, unsettled areas for the National Water and Sewerage Corporation. And water is life, and so the hospitals cannot do without water. And so I believe that this should be an emergency that should be handled by Minister of Health very, very fast. All right, dear viewer, let's go for a break, and when we come back, we shall be able to dive into what we have in the new vision this morning on Westnile Television. My name is Denis Oringi. This is KOKOLIRIKO Show. Today, 1st of June 2023, Thursday. Good morning.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
More for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, we'll be back. You're still watching Westnile Television. My name is Denis Oringi, and it's still KOKOLIRIKO live on Westnile Television right here. Let's get to the new vision right this morning. Museveni congratulates Erdogan on election victory. Oh, he's a very good story coming in from Turkey. You have to know right there that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has congratulated his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan upon his election as president of Turkey. Erdogan was declared the winner of the hotly contested election by Turkey's election body. That is on Sunday. According to results released by Turkey's election board, Erdogan won the race with 52.14% of the votes against Kemal, that is Klisha Dargulus, that scored 47.86 of the total votes cast right there. And so, according to, on behalf of government and the people of Uganda, and on my own behalf, I warmly congratulate President Erdogan on his re-election as the President of the Republic of Turkey in the polls of 28th May 2023. Your re-election is a sign of confidence and trust by the Turkish voters in your capabilities. Museveni tweeted on May 30th, 2023. In keeping the historical ties between Uganda and Turkey, Museveni reaffirmed the steadfast support for the bilateral relations between the two countries. Erdogan visited Uganda on May 31st to June 1st, 2016 for the first time, and the visit served to bolster the ties between the two countries. Turkey's bilateral trade volumes with Uganda was 155 billion in 2019, and increased to 238 billion Ugandan shillings in 2020. The trade volumes further increased from $71 million US to 268 million. The trade volumes are further increased to 268 billion Ugandan shillings in 2021. In 2021, Turkish exports to Uganda increased by 26%, and Uganda's export to Turkey increased by 418% right there. And so that is the story that you need to know in regards to President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni congratulating, and that is Erdogan, who has been re-elected as the President of Turkey, as we do talk right at this particular time. All right, another story that you need to know here, that 6 councillors suspended over fist fight during meeting, is the story that you need to know. There are some videos that are circulating in social media. There is one from Amolata district where the district councillors were able to fight during council sitting. Also, there's also another one that was released yesterday. But allow me to tell you that the councillors Maurice Eriao, Orech Ambrose, Olal Bill Dickens, Ashiro Dokas, Okao Kizito and Dokas Akoma were suspended by the Deputy Speaker Martin Ayonge in what is described as gross misconduct. Right there, the 6th councillor of Molata district have been suspended after engaging in chaos and fist fights during a council meeting. On Monday, Ayonge called a meeting to approve the draft budget for 2023-2024, but it ended up in chaos after a section of councillors protested the suspension of their colleague Dokas Akome over misconduct. Ayonge had suspended Akome in the previous meeting, accusing her of tearing the minutes of the council meeting. However, on Monday, she resurfaced but was again ordered to walk out. She resisted the order, which prompted Enyonge to call the sergeant at arms to evict her. This didn't go well with a section of councillors, backing Akome when police officers entered the force to force her out of the meeting at the district council hall. The room became rowdy and chaotic, with councillors backing Akome and engaging those against her for nearly 10 minutes. There was kicking, blows, and hurling of chairs across the room, with the female councillors making alarms, calling for interventions from the community after the police calmed down the situation. Enyonge adjourned the meeting prematurely to Tuesday. However, on Tuesday, after approving a draft budget of shillings 28 billion for the 2023-2024 financial year, the councillors were barred from attending 2 consecutive council sittings. Enyonge said the council acted in total breach of the standard rules of procedure by disrupting council business through fighting and use of slanderous words. The councillors also accused Enyonge of being incompetent and conniving with District LC5 Chairperson Geoffrey Ocean to deny them opportunities to raise critical issues affecting them. Ocean said the councillors were being used by a politician whom he did not name to disorganize them, and that sometimes they also turned up for the council business when they were heavily drunk. And so that is statement in regards to the video that is circulating on social media about the Amolata District Council getting rowdy, where people were able to have a fist fight right there. And so let's get to the international stories right this morning. From that is the New Vision right this morning. You have to know that Republican DeSantis begins a presidential bid in Trump's shadow is another story that you need to know, that America needs an energetic president capable of serving 2 terms. He said a reference to the fact that Trump is constitutionally limited to 1 more 4-year stint in office is the story that you need to know right there. Though the Republican governor, that is Ron DeSantis, kicked off his 2024 presidential campaign tour in Iowa on Tuesday by pitching himself as the best alternative to Donald Trump. And so though he did not name the septuagenarian ex-president directly during his speech, DeSantis, 44 years old, nevertheless evoked Trump, attempting to draw a study of parallels and contrasts. America needs an energetic president capable of serving 2 terms, he said, a reference to the fact that Trump is constitutionally limited to 1 more 4-year stint in office. And so leaders is not about entertainment, DeSantis told Lawrence, it's about results. But he also tried to ingratiate himself with Trump's voter base, most obviously with the campaign slogan, "Our Great American Comeback," that strongly echoed Trump's "Make American Great Again" mantra. And so in an appeal to the religious voters previously won over by Trump, the Florida governor started his White House bid at the Evangelical and Eternity Church in Cleve, Iowa, under a giant portrait of Jesus Christ. The practicing Catholic has in recent interviews sought to emphasize his conservative policy achievements, including a ban on discussing gender identity and sexual orientation in schools, a block on funding efforts for promoting diversity at public universities, and one of the most restrictive abortion laws in the country. While he lacks the Republican front-runner's national profile, DeSantis has tried to position himself as an effective policymaker, implicitly contrasting himself with Trump's reputation for legislative inertia. And so in Iowa, DeSantis spoke at length on the themes there to the president's funds, including denouncing immigration as out of control, accusing the media of spreading lies, and painting dystopian pictures of life under Democratic President Joe Biden, who he claimed has allowed criminals to roam in the streets. And so each talking point received a heartily standing ovation. American decline is not inevitable, it is a choice, and we must choose a new direction for our country. We must choose a path that will lead to revival of of American greatness. He said his return to law on Tuesday was his second top this month in the small, that is Midwestern state, which plays an outsized role in presidential elections as the first to cast ballots in the GOP primary, guaranteeing invaluable momentum for the winning candidate. The kickoff events begins a 4-day tour through 12 cities in Lower New Hampshire and South Carolina. Too much baggage. Polls show DeSantis trailing Trump, who is set to make his own pitch to Lawrence this week. In his speech, DeSantis refrain from explicitly criticizing Trump's and possibly offending a large voter base that could swing away from the recently indicted ex-president. His approach struck a chord assured with some of the crowd who expressed exultation with the chaos, scandals and lawsuits that have swallowed Trump right there. And so that's something that is happening in America in regards to the bid for that is the 2024 election that will be taking place in America. And you have to know that Americans have only, that is a 4 years term for a president to stay in office, and a president is supposed to serve only for 2 terms. After that, you do not really stand again. And so in our country, Uganda, it is the people to decide whether you should stand again or not, because the age limit and also the term limit have been quashed. And so we are waiting for the electoral reforms, whether this will be introduced in our country, Uganda. We always imitate Americans when it comes to the issue of democracy. I do not know whether this will really be practicable in our country, Uganda. There was a topic in a debate that true democracy, is there true practicability of democracy in our country, Uganda? It's a question that lingers in the mind of each and every Ugandan that we do have. I do not want to get there. We still have 2 years ahead of us for us to get involved in the practicability of democracy. But currently, what are we witnessing? Are we witnessing democracy? Is something that I also leave it up to you right there. But some bit of democracy is being practiced here in our country, Uganda, much as not to 100%, as it is the case with other countries that we have in the world. And America being the architect of democracy, I do not know how it is possible in America, and it is not possible in our country, Uganda, to have a president serving only for 2 terms. That is 8 years for you. After that, you do not really stand again. And that's what America does right there. And so I do not know whether this will be able to work here in our country, Uganda, or maybe in any of the African countries that we do have. I leave it to the Almighty to help. All right, dear viewer, let's go for a break, and when we come back, we shall be diving into that is what we have in the world of sport. Good morning.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Guru, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, thank you very much for joining us again, dear viewer. You have to know that it's already 28 minutes to the top of the hour at 9 a.m. right on Westnile Television. Let us dive into what we have in the world of sports this morning. Sevilla beat Roma on penalties to secure 7th Europa League title. Is good news for the Sevilla supporters that we do have. Sevilla overran Roma on penalties following a 1-1 draw to win the Europa League for the 7th time and qualify for the next season's Champions League in the process. And so the two teams could not be separated in 120 minutes with an own goal from Gianluca Mancini cancelling out an opener from Paulo Dybala. But Sevilla were triumphant in the penalty shootout with Gonzalo Montiel winning it for the Spanish outfits after a retake. And so Jose Luis Mendilibar's side will play Champions League football next season despite a disappointing La Liga campaign which has left them down in 11th spot in the table, while Roma are currently 6th in Serie A ahead of the final match day, which would see them qualify for the group stage of the 2023-2024. That is Europa League right there. The trophy is Sevilla's 7th in this competition, with lost Navionenses also triumphing in 2006, 2007, 2014, 2015, 2016, and also 2020. Roma's goalless draw away to Bayern Leverkusen in the second leg of their semi-final, which saw the Italian outfit win the tie 1-0, was a pick Mourinho with the Portuguese setting up to frustrate the Bundesliga side, but it just was not to be for the Serie A side on Wednesday, is what you need to know. The fact that Sevilla beat Manchester United and then Juventus in the quarterfinals and semi-finals demonstrates the impressiveness of their position in the final, and it has been some turnaround to the club since Mendibar's arrival with the 62-year-old taking over a relegation-threatened side in La Liga. Roma had the final chance in the 11th minute when smart work from Dybala and Zeki Selik eventually led to Leonardo Spinazzola having a strike on goal, but Bono was on hand to make a smart save right there for you. And so that is something that you need to know in regards to the game that was played between Sevilla and Roma that ended 1-1 draw, but Sevilla taking the trophy right there. Champions transfer in and out summer 2023. You have to keep track of every done deal in the championship during the summer transfer window. You have to know here what you need to know, that in none yet Birmingham we don't have somebody in yet, but out we have Maxine Collin has been released, Harley Dean released, Troy Denai released, George Friend released, Jordan Graham released, Kevin Long released, Michelle Roberts released, Keandras Simons released, and then Ryan Starks also released right there. And so this is what you can have in the Champions League in regards to the transfers right there. And so you can really get interested to understand what we have in the world of transfers right there. Championship transfers in and out has been released, as I did mention earlier on, and also Premier League transfer in and out summer is what I need to bring to your attention this morning, that when you look at Arsenal in, we don't have any person who has really joined Arsenal yet, but those who are out already, that has been released. We have Ainsley Maitland-Niles has been released. We have also Pablo Murray, who has gone to, that is Monza, at £6 million is what you need to know. Right, the Arsenal total spent to date is 0 yet. Arsenal total received to date is £6 million. And so Arsenal has not yet spent any single coin in regards to the players that they are supposed to bring in, but what they have received after releasing Pablo Murray, they have received the £6 million. Arsenal net transfer balance is still at £6 million is what you need to know. Aston Villa has not yet received any new player in yet, but they have released the 2 players already. Caleb Chukwuemeka has been, undisclosed. The Crawley town, that is where they say that he has gone to. Then Ashley Young is also, he has been released as well. Then Aston Villa total spent to date is 0 yet. Aston Villa total received yet is also 0. And Aston Villa net transfer balance is still £0 million. And so Bournemouth, we don't have any player that Bournemouth has brought in yet, but the one that they have released out is Gary Shahil, who has also been released. You have to know that Brentford has brought in, that is Mark Flecken, that is £11 million from Zegberg. And out already that Brentford has released, we have Saman Godus and also Pontus, that is Johnson. And so Saman Godus has been released. Pontus Johnson has gone on free to Malmo. And so Brentford total spent to date is £11 million pound, and then total received to that is a date, it is still 0. And then Brentford net transfer balance, that is 11 million. And then also let's have the Brighton and Hove Albion. They have Joao Pedro undisclosed. He has gone to Watford. Out already we have Taylor Richards undisclosed. He has gone to Queen's Park Rangers. And so Burnley, we have Jordan Bayer from, that is Borussia Mönchengladbach. And then also out already from Burnley, we have Ashley Barnes, Will Norris, Lucas Jensen, and then Matthew Lawton. These are the players that have been released. But Ashley Barnes has gone on free, for free to Norwich City, is what you have to know. Chelsea has brought in a new player, but those that have been, released already, we have Dujon Sterling has gone for free to Rangers. Xavier Simons has gone for free to Hull City. Then Jaden Wareham has been released as well. And so Crystal Palace has not brought in a new player yet. We have James McArthur has been released. Luka Milovojevic has also been released as well. Everton has not brought in new player yet, but out already we have Moise Kean, we have Asmir Begovic, we have Simus Coleman, Tom Davis, and then Andy Lonergans, and also Yeri Mina, Isaac Price, Andros Torsent. This is end of contract. So majority of the players from Everton, they have the end of contract, but Moise Kean has gone to Juventus at 27.5 million right there for him. Fulham has not brought in new player yet, but we have Sylvester Jasper has gone to, that is a Portimonense, that is at undisclosed amount right there. Liverpool has not brought in new player yet, but you have to know that James Milner, his contract has ended. Naby Keita, his contract has ended. Roberto Firmino, his contract has ended. Alex, that is Oxlade Chamberlain, his contract has ended with Liverpool. And then Luton Town, this is a new team that has come on board, has not brought in new player yet, but out already we have Sonny Bradley. It is also another player that has been released right there. Manchester City has not brought in new player yet, but they have also not released any player yet. And so Manchester City, is still intact. I think the Manchester City believe that the players who played for the season 2022-2023 that ended, they are still good players that can really continue to play for them. And so we wait to see whether they will be able to release some of the players, or they will also be able to bring in new players to join them. And so that's something that you need to know. Manchester United, we have none has been bought yet. Out already, we have Phil Jones, end of contract. Ethan Galbraith, end of contract right there for you. Newcastle, none has been bought yet, but undisclosed to Nottingham Forest, we have Chris Wood. And then Nottingham Forest, we have Chris Wood that has really joined from Newcastle United. Then out from Nottingham Forest, we have Will Swan and also Jack Colbert. And so Will Swan has been brought from, taken to Mansfield Town at an undisclosed amount of money, and then Jack Colbert, end of contract right there. Sheffield United, we have none player has been bought, and then also none has been sent out yet. Excuse me. Tottenham Hotspur, we have none in, none out. West Ham United, we have none in, out. We have Ata Masuoka, who has gone to Besiktas, is also what you need to know. And then Wolverhampton Wanderers, we have Boubacar Traore from Mets, who has come on board and have not bought any new player yet. They have not yet released any new any player out yet. Dear viewer, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you for joining us right from the time that we started the KOKOLIRIKO Show right this morning. My name is Denis Oringi. We have come to the end of the KOKOLIRIKO Show this morning. Have the best of your morning. Catch me again tomorrow for the Friday edition of the program, the KOKOLIRIKO Show on Westnile Television. Have the best of your time.